made the playoffs a year ago as well. So a lot of different things going on. But let's get the very latest on that. Our Sactown Sports 49ers insider, Amil Fragoso, always following this news. Amil, welcome. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I was just waking up myself when I saw this Adam Peters news, and I just went, "Oh boy, here we go."
Yeah.
I did not think this was going to come this quickly, but we also knew that Washington was going to work fast with this. They wanted to get this done before anyone else, and they wanted to go hire their head coach. And now it's official, or at least reportedly official. Adam Peters is going to Washington as their new general manager.
Yeah, and probably part of their fast acting too was the fact that the Niners also granted permission for the Raiders to talk to him, and maybe a few other teams would have been interested. So they had to jump on this, and honestly, I think it's a pretty good move for a new ownership group, and a organization really, Emil, that I think needs just an overall cleansing, and they're kind of going through it right now. And adding Peter seems to be a good move.
Yeah, it's a culture reset for them, right? With Josh Harris, their new owner, in place, and people forget, or they don't forget, they should really take into account that they hired Bob Myers to be their consultant. And who's really close with Bob Myers? Adam Peters. Grew up in Los Angeles with them, went to UCLA with them together those days in college. They have a really close relationship, Bob Myers and Adam Peters. And so when we heard that Bob Myers was going to come on as a consultant to help with this hiring process, we always thought that Adam Peters could be the guy. I didn't expect it to be this quickly. I thought it would take a couple days over the weekend. But here we are. Adam Peters now leaves the Niners after 7 seasons there under John Lynch. His lead right-hand man, John Lynch, really delegated a lot of work to him, really important in the scouting department, important in getting those late-round draft picks. This is a really big loss for the 49ers, who are set up to recover, and they have people in place, absolutely, but it still is a big loss going forward for this franchise.
As we're talking to Amil Fragoso, our Sactown Sports 49ers insider, and he's brought to you by our friends at Timber Creek. You know them for their golf, of course, but maybe you have other events, other ideas, parties, planning, weddings. Check out their ballroom. They've got other facilities there, certainly, that could benefit you in the community at Timber Creek. So, Amil, you just brought it up. Let's look at that from the Niners' perspective. Obviously, when you're good, people try to take from you, learn your winning ways. How do they recover? How do they respond by losing Adam Peters to the Commanders?
I think the writing was kind of on the wall with Adam Peters when they re-signed John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan during the season this year. We forget they did a little sneakily in September, a little contract extension, and John Lynch is now going to be on through the 24-25 season, potentially going forward past that. And they elevated John Lynch, the president of football operations. So many thought, okay, that means Peters is going to get a raise. He's going to go up to general manager from assistant general manager. No, that's not the case. Could they go back around and go get their former colleague, Martin Mayhew, who was the Washington Commanders general manager, now no longer likely that case? They could go back around and add him on as an assistant general manager as well. So there's a lot of moving parts here. They also have people in the building as well they would like to promote. But in terms of high-level executives under John Lynch, this is the one you wouldn't want to lose, but one you kind of expected to over time. And Adam Peters, everything you hear about him, he just talked to General, a great person, a great human being to be around. Really just a joy to have in the Niners facility and overall in their personnel.
The playoff run starts next week. I don't expect any of this to do any damage to that, but it's more off-season draft. That's really where the impact of this will be felt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Adam Peters has been really, really important in the scouting department for them. Really came up from working with Denver before 2017, came up as an assistant scout through the ranks and an assistant GM. And now here we are looking at this of like, why is this guy so important to John Lynch? It's because he was one of the lead scouters for this team. Guys like Drake Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, all were found with the help of Adam Peters. So losing a guy like that in the scouting department, in the front office, is a really, really big deal. I do think the Niners recover out of this, but it's definitely a change of pace and a step forward for both Washington and now the Niners looking for someone after this season.
Now, this isn't a first for the organization, whether it's in the front office like this, but coaching. We're going to see DeMeco Ryans make his playoff coaching debut tomorrow. We know Robert Saleh has left after success with the 49ers. Any chance more happens? Should we keep our eye on guys like Steve Wilks or anyone else currently on the Niners staff? Is someone being coveted for another program?
Yeah, it's Steve Wilks. Look, it's definitely Steve Wilks. I would also look for defensive line assistant coach Chris Kasarik. He was in the circles a lot last year. He almost went to the Texans with DeMeco Ryans and turned that job down. I think, though, that Steve Wilks is going to take a hard, long look and see what's out there. I know the Commanders have been calling, the Falcons have been calling for their head coaching jobs, and I think Steve Wilks would be a great candidate for them. But I also think Steve Wilks knows that unless this is the year they win the Super Bowl, his stock can only kind of go up with the Niners right now. He's been doing a really good job. He's only been there for 10 months. So you think about that, right? He's been there for 10 months in the Bay Area. Do you want to flip ship this quickly and just kind of go off the heels of it? You can, but if you're trying to build something here with the Niners and really build your legacy as a really strong defensive coordinator and a really strong defensive coach, I'd prefer him to stay here. I think he's done a great job. But then again, this could be 4 for 4 for Niners losing another coordinator in the offseason.
So to go back to kind of the top story, Adam Peters leaving the 49ers, joining the Commanders, you're not overall shocked. It's just how quickly it happened is the most stunning part, correct?
Yeah, I had figured it was going to be Peters again with the Bob Myers connection. I just thought it would take a couple more days over the weekend. I figured they would do the sneaky press release during the weekend of the playoff games. Like, oh, that's right. We hired our new GM and just in the middle of the playoff games. But nope, they used the Friday. They used it to get it all out there. Adam Peters, the reports are saying that his first interview went long into the evening and was very well received. Everything virtual right now, obviously, because the Niners are preparing for the playoffs. And then they had the second meeting yesterday at Zooms. And as soon as they had the second interview, it was kind of a wrap, kind of a done deal. It just surprised me how quickly the reports came out as well. But I also have some other breaking news for you now, actually.
Okay.
The All-Pro list has been released, and the Niners have a whopping 7 AP All-Pros this year. We have guys on the first team: Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Trent Williams, and Fred Warner. On the second team, Brandon Ayuk and Javarius Ward.
There's Ayuk.
Yeah. But no Brock Purdy. Just saying that. No Brock Purdy.
Oh, wow. Even in the second team?
Nope.
Wow. Who's the second team QB? Dak?
I'm going through it right now. I'm looking for it right now because it was just released. He came up short. He finished third to Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I think the debate's good. I mean, if Brock got in Dak's group and Dak people would be upset. Lamar probably deserves it. So they all do, honestly. I mean, he played like an all-pro. It's another acknowledgement, but that's a tough one for Brock Purdy. I think he deserved that.
It is, but you know what? Brock Purdy really doesn't care about the individual accolades. Same with the rest of this team. I mean, even when you talk to Christian McCaffrey about winning the first rushing title for the 49ers since 1954, he goes, okay, cool. On to the next step. I mean, this team is so team-oriented. They're so focused on one goal, and that's left in the Lombardi Trophy, that all the ancillary stuff is really just hearsay for them.
Yeah. Anything this weekend that could happen that would put a wrinkle in their chances to hold up that Lombardi Trophy from the other NFC games?
Wrinkle for the Niners? An unfortunate injury, just staying healthy, knock on wood. I mean, coming from the other games, they would prefer not to see the Rams, I would say, out of all the opponents. But they're really not afraid of anyone. And they feel very, very confident that they're going to be the team out of the NFC going to Vegas at the end of this month and go into February. Even speaking with Javarius Ward, All-Pro Ward, I should say, we asked him about the team's run and potentially going to Super Bowl. He goes, "Oh no, we're going to Vegas this year." So they are extremely confident that this is the year to get it done, especially considering that they have a first-round bye. They're getting healthy going into the postseason. I mean, you think about it. They're only 2 wins away from going to Vegas. That's really where they're at right now. 2 wins. That's it. And it's all home court. So
yeah, it's set up as well as it possibly can for them. This news, I don't know on that front as far as Peters goes, by the way. Amil, he would leave right away. It's not like a coach that would finish out a season, right? He would go right now.
That is still TBD. I would figure he would finish out the year and kind of see out this run and then go. Mm-hmm. But just because they're in the playoffs still, it's not like the season's over for them. They still have work to get done. So I figure he would finish this out and then go. It'd be kind of weird for him to leave in the middle of this. But then again, GMs and stuff like Rand Carthon last year when he left for Tennessee. It was after the postseason. So okay, it's kind of my thought.
Well, we appreciate you jumping in for the breaking news there with the 49ers. One, the All-Pro list, certainly the other one with Adam Peters leaving the 49ers. He'll get that job as the new man in charge for the Commanders. Amil, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. Again, that's Amil Fragoso. He's our 49ers insider. Again, he's